Oceanic Flight 815 tears apart in midair. People falling from the sky. And somehow, impossibly, many of them survive. But the moment they wake up on that beach, one thing becomes clear: this isn't just an island. This is something else. Something watching. Something choosing. At first, everything feels like a survival story: hunger, fear, chaos. But then, the impossible happens. A polar bear in the jungle, whispers in the dark. A monster made of smoke tearing trees out of the ground. This place knows they're here. Jack becomes the reluctant leader. Kate hides a dark past. Sawyer plays the villain but carries a broken heart. Locke believes the island brought them for a reason. He can walk again. A miracle or a trap. Every clue pulls them deeper. The hatch, the numbers, the French distress call playing for 16 years. And when they finally open the hatch, the entire story flips. Down there is Desmond, a man pushing a button every 108 minutes to save the world. Is it real or another manipulation? But the biggest twist? Flight 815 didn't just crash. It was pulled here chosen by something connected to fate, destiny, and ancient conflict. Every survivor is tied to the island long before they arrived. They weren't lost in the world. The island was waiting for them. And this is only the beginning. The survivors quickly realize the island isn't just dangerous, it's alive. It reacts to them, tests them, breaks them, and then rebuilds them. Every character is fighting two battles, one with the island and one with themselves. Jack believes in logic, science, fixing things. But the island keeps throwing him problems he can't fix: visions of his dead father walking through the jungle, impossible choices, and the pressure of keeping everyone alive when they're falling apart. Kate is running from her past, but here, there's nowhere left to run. Sawyer pretends not to care, but each day with these people threatens the walls he spent a lifetime building. Saeed, the soldier with a tortured past, finds himself fighting for peace. Hurley fears the cursed numbers, but somehow becomes the heart of the group. And Locke? Locke thinks he was chosen. He thinks the island saved him. But belief can be dangerous, and Locke is willing to follow the island anywhere, no matter the cost. Days turn into weeks, and the mysteries pile up: a ship from centuries ago in the middle of the jungle. A radio message looping forever. A monster that judges you based on your past sins, and then the others. Not ghosts, not monsters. People. People who know the island better than anyone, and who have been watching the survivors since the moment they arrived. Why? Because they also believe these people were brought here for a reason. When the survivors find the hatch, everything changes. It's not a bunker, it's a System A test, a responsibility. Push a button every 108 minutes, or the world ends. Simple, but terrifying. Desmond, broken and alone, waited for anyone to take his place. And when Locke convinces everyone it's all a lie, he sets events in motion that shake the island itself. The truth becomes clearer. Flight 815 didn't crash. It was summoned. Every survivor has a purpose. Every choice brings them closer to something ancient. A struggle between two forces that have been at war for centuries. Fate versus free will. Faith versus science. Light versus darkness. And in the shadows, the smoke monster watches, waiting for the right moment. As the days pass, the survivors finally begin to understand something terrifying. Everything on the island is connected: their pasts, their regrets, their guilt, even their pain. It's as if the island knows them better than they know themselves. Strange visions start to plague the camp. Jack sees his father. Kate sees a black horse she thought was long gone from her life. Charlie hears whispers calling his name, and Hurley finds a mysterious hatch labeled with the exact cursed numbers that haunted him for years. These aren't hallucinations. They're messages. Meanwhile, Locke becomes more obsessed. To him, every sound in the jungle is a sign. Every coincidence is destiny. When he hears the whispers for the first time, his face doesn't show fear. It shows excitement. Because Locke doesn't want to leave the island. He wants to belong to it. But the others, the survivors, they're cracking. Food runs low. Storms hit harder. Suspicion grows. People disappear in the middle of the night. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they don't. And then, the survivors make their first real mistake. They start a war with the others without even knowing who the enemy truly is. The beach survivors think the others are mindless attackers, but the others think they are the intruders. The island is choosing sides, and it's not choosing evenly. One night, everything shifts. A torch is seen in the trees, then another, then dozens, and the beach is no longer theirs. Shadows move between the firelight, silent but deliberate. The others are here, and they are not just observing anymore, they are acting. The survivors scramble, some freezing in fear, others grabbing whatever makeshift weapons they can. Jack yells orders, trying to maintain control, but the island has a rhythm of its own, and for the first time he feels utterly powerless. Kate drags a terrified child into the thicket, her own heart racing while Sawyer's hand hovers over a flare gun, hesitation mixing with instinct. A low guttural growl rumbles through the jungle. The smoke monster stirs nearby, sensing the clash of wills, the fear, the chaos. It moves, slow but unstoppable, a shadow among shadows, and the survivors realize that every step they take is being watched, measured, judged. Meanwhile, Locke's eyes glint with fervor. He steps forward, seemingly unafraid, almost welcoming the intrusion. "This is it," he whispers, barely audible. "This is what we've been waiting for. The island is speaking." Hurley clutches the numbers in his pocket like a talisman, mumbling to himself, trying to make sense of the madness. Saeed moves like a soldier, calculating, protecting, scanning every corner for threat and opportunity. Even Charlie, haunted by visions, begins to sense patterns, rhythms in the chaos that no one else can see. The others emerge fully now, figures cloaked in secrecy, moving with precision, speaking in riddles. They demand answers, not weapons. Questions about the survivors' past, their regrets, their fears. Each survivor is confronted with their own truth, and each truth is another layer of the island's intricate design. Night becomes a test. Firelight flickers against the leaves, shadows twist into forms that don't belong, and whispers echo through the camp. The survivors learn quickly. The island doesn't just test strength, it tests character, loyalty, and resolve. Every lie is revealed, every secret exposed, every choice carries weight heavier than stone. And just when it seems like chaos will swallow them whole, a signal cuts through the darkness. A call from the hatch, Desmond's voice, distorted but urgent, reaches them over the radio. The button, it has to be pushed, or everything ends. Panic rises, but so does determination. Jack hesitates, torn between saving lives now and obeying some unseen cosmic rule. Kate steps forward, eyes blazing with a mix of fear and courage. Sawyer sneers at the absurdity, but grips his flare, ready for whatever comes. Locke smiles, serene, as if the madness is the only clarity he's ever known. The island watches, waits, and shifts. Time stretches, storms gather, and the survivors realize something undeniable. No one leaves unchanged. The island isn't just a place, it's a mirror, a judge, a force beyond comprehension. And in the dark, the smoke monster coils, patient, calculating, biding its time. Because the island doesn't just test them, it chooses them, and it will not let go. The first battle has begun, but this is only the surface beneath the jungle, beneath the beach, beneath the very earth itself. Deeper mysteries pulse, waiting for the brave, the foolish, and the desperate to uncover. The war for the island has begun, and no one is truly ready. If you want, I can continue this next sequence with the survivors' first direct confrontation with the others and the smoke monster. It can get really intense and cinematic. Do you want me to do that? The night explodes into chaos. Torches blaze, shouts echo, and the survivors face the others for the first time, not as shadows or whispers, but as real people, human yet terrifying in their precision. Every move the survivors make is countered, every decision questioned. The island itself seems to tremble, as if aware that the balance has shifted. In the midst of it all, the smoke monster rises. It slithers through the trees, a living shadow, enveloping anything in its path. Fear grips the survivors, but so does resolve. Jack stands at the front, shouting, rallying, refusing to yield. Kate fights beside him, raw determination etched on her face. Sawyer takes aim, but even he realizes some forces cannot be fought with bullets. Locke steps forward, hands raised, almost inviting the darkness. This is why we're here, he says. This is the island's way of showing us what matters. Hurley clutches the cursed numbers. The key to survival, the weight of destiny pressing down on him. Syed moves like a guardian, protecting those he can, while Charlie prays silently, hoping his faith can pierce the growing shadows. The others pause, assessing, testing. Then slowly, deliberately, they retreat into the jungle, leaving the survivors shaken but alive. The island's storm subsides just enough to give them a moment to breathe, but everyone knows this reprieve is temporary. As dawn breaks, the survivors gather on the beach, bloodied, exhausted, and forever changed. They glance at one another, realizing a truth deeper than fear. The island has chosen them, not just to survive, but to play a part in something much larger. Somewhere in the jungle, the smoke monster coils, watching, waiting. The island's mysteries remain unsolved, but its will is clear. Every choice matters, every action echoes, and every life is bound to its eternal rhythm. Flight 815 didn't just crash, it began. And the survivors are no longer lost, they are exactly where they were meant to be. The story has only just begun.